G'day guys, my name is Wildcard and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my content. If you would like to get me an instant coffee, hit the join button down below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. Let's get on with today's preview. England versus Tonga. First game for England in the Autumn Test Series against a pretty gutted team of the Tongan side. A lot of their players are not available and the head coach was injured at home following a robbery attack. Todai Kefu. So Tonga team has been really struggling, but really good for the team to, step out of the bubble, to travel regardless, to take on the challenges that faces them. The only way for them to get better is to play the game, right? And Tonga still haven't qualified yet for the Rugby World Cup. They lost to Samoa in their qualifying round earlier in July. So they're still looking to improve their team to try really secure that spot in the Rugby World Cup coming up 2023. England, on the other hand, has been criticized a lot, especially following the really poor performance out of the Six Nations this year. Eddie Jones has been under the pump for playing too defensively, too much kicking apparently, and also has been criticized for some of the selections that he made earlier this year. And as a result, Eddie Jones has made sweeping changes, big name changes across the board for England team, and a lot of the stable names that we normally have seen out of the England team, like the Vunipola brothers, George Ford, are all gone. So it's just pretty much a England team that's been taking a lot of the it's pretty much an England team that's passed some different faces pull into it, and Eddie Jones also has talked about building towards the Rugby World Cup 2023, which will be his last World Cup under England. So yeah, maybe, if you just let the media in England, if they could just let Eddie Jones do his thing instead of giving him too much rubbish, maybe we'll see the brilliance of the coach come to fruition instead of, trying to be backseat selectors in the media. So anyway, let's have a look at the match preview before we get onto the team. So Tonga and England only ever played apparently 3 times officially, and England has beaten Tonga quite convincingly, and they're all inside the Rugby World Cup. And England 15 team also played Tonga a long time ago, and so this is the first time Tonga played England outside of the Rugby World Cup. So this is a great opportunity for Tonga to improve, and also something that gives the fans to look forward to at home in Tonga as well. England rugby has had a pretty poor form this year so far. So if we go back to the beginning of the Six Nations, at here in the where was the beginning? I thought the Six Nations started. This is like last year actually. Yes, here. This is the start, I believe. Yes, so the first game, Six Nations for England, was against Scotland with a huge upset. What is going on here? Where is it? Yeah, so with a huge upset for Scotland to beat England for the first time in 36 years or 38 years at Twickenham, in front of no fans, obviously, but still, huge loss. And England has been criticized a lot out of this game. Eddie Jones has been smashed really hard for this game. So England had a lot of trouble with the players' fitness as a result of the Saracens, one of the premier teams in England rugby, one of the teams where a lot of the England core plays for, was relegated for breaching the salary cap. So England basically came into the Six Nations in really poor form, losing to Scotland first time in 20-something years at home, 30-something years, 36, 38 years at home, losing to Wales, finally came back and beat France in a very tight game, and then losing to Ireland again. And then in the July series, England came out with a pretty poor performance against USA in the second half, and this is where they first debuted Marcus Smith, the upcoming very promising fly half for England team. So not in the best forms for England coming into this match. The new looks in the team, which I'll have a look at in a minute, shows it. Tonga has been also really bad this year due to COVID, due to not access to players. And it's just, really not the best outlook. But like I said, good on them for coming to this match. They've lost every match since the since the start of this year against New Zealand. A big loss, 102-0 to losing to Scotland last week, 60 points to 14. This will be played in Twickenham in London, so it's going to be in the afternoon, I believe. This game is going to be played. 13 degrees, a little bit of humidity, looking like may or may not be a little bit wet conditions on the day. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. But anyway, let's have a look at the England actual lineup and see how it has been shuffled up since new Eddie Jones' new look of England. So, Ellis Gench gets some start at number 1 position on the loose air prop for England. Jamie George gets caught back into the team. He was originally dropped, and I thought I was really surprising because, he's just an experienced hooker. There's really not much of a reason to drop a hooker in position. And also, I thought, so he's back in the hooker position at number 2. I thought that was probably a smart thing for Eddie Jones to do because you really don't want your experienced hooker to be gone by the wayside. It takes a long time to train to build up a new, world-class level hooker in the number 2 position. And Kyle Sinclair, I think the best prop in England, comes in at number 3. I thought he was brilliant in 2019 Rugby World Cup. Absolutely destroyed Australia. His form has been a bit off. Almost, he actually didn't get selected for the Lions team, but then one of the players that was selected originally, I think one of the Irishmen, got injured, and then he was caught in late for the Lions tour, and then he had a pretty okay run in the Lions team. Not really the form that he was in since 2019, to be fair. They're up against the Tongans. Sanfred Fisi Hoi comes at number 1. Pona Gauamo. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, because I actually don't. I actually really do struggle with his names. And Ben Tame Funa comes in at number 3. Just the size of this Tongan front rowers, man. Like 146 kilos, 122, 125. This is huge. These Tongan front rowers are going to be, quite a big pack going into against England. I thought the England pack were huge, but Tongan pack is also humongous. Just massive, massive people. Mauro Itoje comes in at number 4. Johnny Hill gets a spot at number 5. Bit of a newcomer for the England team. Mauro Itoje, he's in the Six Nations, he was giving away penalties everywhere, but he was selected for the Lions tour, and he's really improved on his discipline, and he actually played a couple of the test games without giving away any penalties. So from being a joke, for giving away too much penalties, to not giving away any penalties at all during the Lions Test series. So it was quite impressive, quite a big improvement from Mauro Itoje. Leva Fifita comes in at number 4 for the Tongans. And then Tagi Noah Halai Fonua comes in at number 5 for Tongans in the locking positions. Now the loose forwards, I do think, so loose forwards for England, I do think England has a pretty big advantage in loose forward for the selections. So Courtney Laws comes in number 6, 87 test caps, probably one of the most solid players out of England in terms of loose forward packs. Sam also doubles as a third jumping option in the lineouts. Sam Underhill comes in at number 7, 23 caps. And Tom Curry comes in at number 8 spot with 33 caps. I think Tom Curry can also play in flanker, because I did remember him playing flanker in the Lions Test series. And then so what's his name? Simmons? Is it Simmons? Is it Sam Simmons? Didn't get a start again, I think. That's a bit weird. Anyway, what's it, Simmons? Anyway, so the England loose forwards do seem to have a big advantage over the Australian, what am I talking about? Over the Tongans. So Lopedi Timani is a former Wallaby, so he hasn't played for the Wallaby for quite a while, and he played for the Tonga in the Sevens Olympics, so that qualified him to basically switch sides to Tonga. So he's going to be probably he's got a lot of work up against this English loose forwards. At number 7 spot, Matiaki Kafutulu comes in at the open side flanker position for Tonga. And Sione Vaianu comes in at number 8 spot for Tonga. In the back line, England, Ben Youngs comes back at number 9. He was he opted himself out of selections for the Lions tour, so he made himself unavailable for a bit of break. Owen Farrell comes in at number 10. Really good to see Owen Farrell at 10. I do think Owen Farrell, he's just more comfortable at 10. As much as Eddie Jones like to play him at 12, Owen Farrell does look like a fish out of water at 12, to be really honest. Not really the most smooth game plays at 12 position. When Owen plays 12, it's almost like someone just handed in a book that says, this is what you do at 12, run hard, tackle hard, and pass the ball, right? And that's what he basically does. Just the very basic stuff at 12, really lack that bit of, Sonny Bill Williams spark of, really lack that little bit of spark at 12 position of the ability to be able to draw multiple defenders and be able to, offload effectively. Really lack some of that little bit of, more technical skills that are required to be at 12. He just does the really basic stuff. So I do like Owen at 10, to be really frank. And I'm good to see that Eddie Jones favors him at 10 position for this match. These guys are up against Sonatane Takulua at number 9. And Kurt Morath comes in at number 10 for the Tongan team. So another thing that England was criticized, was I'm at the number 10 spot, is the fact that England plays too much kicking. That's actually not true. So England was really good at kicking during the World Cup, and that's how they basically beat New Zealand, beat Australia. But the Six Nations this year, England lost a lot of the games because they got out-kicked. So they lost to Scotland because they got absolutely out-kicked in the kicking game. So they got destroyed in the kicking game. That's why. So a lot of the media stuff that you see about England, too much kicking, and the media wants Eddie Jones to do more attacking rugby, are just absolute rubbish. They have no idea what they're talking about, and you should keep their mouths shut and let Eddie Jones do his thing, okay? So that's the thing, just so you know. So the kicking game is not really something that not the reason. It's actually the opposite. What the media claims to be, that England does too much kicking, is actually the kicking isn't good enough, to be honest. So Johnny May comes back at number 11 after not failing to select for the Irish Lions tour. I thought that was a bit of a surprise. Solomon Kata comes in for Tonga at number 11, a former NRL player in rugby league. Malo Tuilangi comes back from injury, finally being completely unavailable for the entire Six Nations. England did cite him as one of the reasons that they weren't performing in the Six Nations. Bit of a cop-out, but still, Tuilangi comes in at inside center position at number 12, which I do think is a good option. He is really like that classic number 12 where he has a bit of a spark, has a hard running, line breaking up abilities he's basically a hard running number 12 with excellent offloading abilities. Someone exactly what you want at 12. I think sometimes Eddie Jones likes to put him at 13 when Owen Farrell's at 12. I do think that this is a much better setup for England for Tuilangi at 12. And then for Tonga, Afusipa Taumue Puiau comes in at number 12. Henry Slade gets the outside center position for England, whilst Mali Etua Siuli Hingano comes in at number 13 in the outside center position for Tonga. Adam Rowan gets a very new player, joins in the English side at number 14, gets another shot at the blindside winger position, and Freddie Stewart comes in also, another fresh face in the England team with only 2 caps on the fullback spot. And the Tongan side have number 14, Walter Fafita comes in at number 14, and Telusa Viainu comes in at number 15 for Tonga. So you can tell that England is not really expecting too much of a kicking game out of Tonga by putting 2 newcomers at 14 and 15 position. So this should be, you can sort of see what the England has in mind, that the kicking game is probably not going to be much of an issue from Tonga, and they're pretty comfortable putting in 2 newcomers into the side. On the bench, this is once again, England has quite a bit of talent coming off the bench. Jamie Blamire comes in at number 16. I do think Mako Vinopola probably should be kept in the team, at least coming off the bench. because Mako Vunipola, he did improve a lot of his form during the Lion Test tour. So Eddie Jones, drop him Mako Vunipola just because the media said he wasn't fit like earlier this year is a bit of an overreaction. So again, the media really playing into a lot of the England's decision making here. Probably going to end up hurting them in the long run, to be fair. Joe Mala comes in at number 17. He's the man who has the privilege of checking Alan Wynne-Jones' prostate live on television. Will Stewart comes in at number 18 for the England forward pack. For Tongans, Siua Maile comes in at number 16. Loni Uhila comes in at number 17. I think they call him the Tongan Bear. Ma'afu Fia comes in at number 18 for Tonga to finish the reserve front rowers. Number 19 for England, Charlie Eels comes in at 19. Stefano Funaki comes in at number 19 for Tonga. I have no information on Funaki. I could not find any of his stats except the fact that he's played one game last week against Scotland. Alex Dombrandt comes in at number 20 with his first, only has one cap for England. Wanhua Havili comes in at number 20 for the Tongan side. Alex Mitchell comes in at 21 for England, potentially making his debut. Leon Fukufuka comes in at number 21 for Tonga. Marcus Smith, many people consider him to be the future of England rugby at number 10 spot. Has a very impressive performance and a winning, I think they won the premiership with the Harlequins earlier this year. So he was so impressive for England playing in the July Test series. He was caught up into the Lions tour and played against the Sharks for the Lions team. So yeah, very impressive. Probably the perfect debut to your international career, getting caught up into the Lions tour right away. And yeah, Marcus Smith, a lot of flair, a lot of attacking, good attacking rugby, excellent kicking game, like dead-eye accurate with goal kicking as well. So huge prospect for him. Well, the question is obviously with Marcus Smith here, are you just gonna start slowly phase out Owen Farrell as the number 10? I do think there could be. I know what you're thinking, Eddie, and I will say, try it, do it, Eddie. I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes, you should do it. You should put Marcus Smith in inside center. Do it, and put Manu Tuiani back at outside center. Do it. Don't put Owen at inside. Put Marcus Smith at inside center. Eddie Jones, I know this is what you want to do. This is your move. This is your favorite setup. 2 5/8s and having a smaller 5/8 at 12. More agile 5/8 at 12. This is exactly what you want. So do it, Eddie. Do it. Screw the media and just do it. And finally, at number 23, George Furbank comes in for England. And, at number 22 for Tonga, James Faiva. And number 23, Viliami Fine comes in for Tonga at number 23. So this should be a pretty easy game for England. England has opted for some of the more key players in the side with a sprinkle of newcomers. Let me know what you think. Hopefully Marcus Smith gets a good, half 40 minutes of the second half and show some plays. And maybe Marcus Smith will come on at number 12 and prove that Eddie Jones is still the good old Eddie that I remember. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Post a comment. I do read all of them. And I'll see you guys a bit later this week for the marathon weekend. Cheers.